Hey guys, sorry for my bad hair and bare face, but I don't give a shit right now. I'm recording this from my roommate's empty side of the room since she just packed up a few minutes ago because she can't handle living with me. I'm gonna pick you up and go like this. Woo! That's a way worse angle. Good God. So, I'm an alcoholic, and I had my first drink in 2010 when I was 15. I used to steal my mom's wine coolers and my dad's beers and just chug them before they got home from work, and I can't say there was anything magical that I felt back then, but I did enjoy the thrill of drinking it. I drank on and off throughout high school, but I had an eating disorder at the time and was more concerned with my eating than my drinking, because alcohol had too many calories. I was hospitalized for my ED when I was 17, which doesn't really have a bearing on my alcoholism right now, but it will come into play later. I was 18. I was in college and I was thin at the time and I was pretty at the time and I wasn't being monitored by anybody, and this whole new world just opened up to me. I drank every weekend and would flirt with anybody who gave me free alcohol. I did get too drunk sometimes, but my friends would just sort of laugh it off and say it happens to everyone. Drinking went from 1 day a week to about 3 days a week, and my friends started to get less tolerant because at least once a week I was getting like sloppy drunk. I told myself it would all work out, and I began drinking 4 or 5 times a week and failing my classes. I was ashamed, and I resorted to drinking by myself because my friends were beginning to avoid me, and I don't blame them for it at all. I was pretty much either always drunk or always hungover with like no time in between, and I knew I had a problem, but I didn't know how to fix it. I lasted 3 semesters in college the first time, and I ended up dropping out because I was failing all of my classes. I had been an honors and AP student in high school, and I was pretty much straight A, and I just didn't have the drive in college, and I knew exactly why, but I pretended that I didn't. After dropping out of college, I went to beauty school because I didn't want to just work at a gas station or something. I wanted to learn a trade. So I did, and I continued to drink, but I would intersperse it with things like weed and Adderall and Percocet, because at the time there were people selling pills at my beauty school. And I hated being sober. It felt alien to me at that point and just uncomfortable. And I didn't have the little voice in my head telling me that I was at my limit or that I should stop or something like everyone else does. I don't have it. It's not there. I got my degree, and for a few years, I would only be able to go a week or two sober, in between getting blacked out drunk, and every time I would drink, I would get blacked out. I have been blacked out hundreds of times. I know I have damaged my brain. There were lots of nights of me falling over in public, screaming at strangers, throwing up everywhere. It was a really bad time. I knew I was addicted. I couldn't stop. But I didn't want to admit to myself that I had an addiction. I thought college would be easier the second time around, so when I hit 23, I went back and I explained to my roommate that I had a problem controlling myself around alcohol. And at first she was really, really supportive, and she would help me like monitor my intake, and she locked up my alcohol for me, but I always would find a way to sneak out and buy more. She was always coming home to me like naked or throwing up or crying or something. All of this wasn't for lack of trying. I tried lower alcohol drinks. I tried drinking only on certain days. I tried eating big meals before. I tried alternating with water. I just couldn't. I was just always blacking out. I could not control myself. Once I started drinking, I could not stop. After this point in my addiction, the craving isn't just like wanting a cheeseburger. It's a whole body, whole brain thing. It takes up every little bit of space in you, and there is no satisfying it or distracting it until you have the thing that you're craving, which in my case was alcohol. It's not just like craving a food or whatever. It's this chemical thing in your head and in your body, and I could not give it up. I could not stop. Alcohol had rewired my priorities. Alcohol was always my number one, and finding time to buy it and drink it was my number one, and classes and friends and my own pride, it was always, it didn't matter as much as drinking. I was taken to the hospital one night after being found in the middle of my dorm hallway, not even my dorm room, in the hallway in front of everybody, like screaming and crying and laughing maniacally, apparently. And I was taken to the hospital because I would keep passing out. And so I was treated for alcohol abuse and told to go to rehab. And I was almost expelled. But my dean said if I went to rehab, then it would be fine. And I wanted to go to rehab, and I started going to rehab, but immediately backed out of it because I didn't want to go through what I went through when I was hospitalized for an eating disorder. And I'm not going to name where I was hospitalized, but their idea of group therapy was rounding us all up and telling us that we were bad people and that we didn't deserve to go outside or contact our families unless we ate 100% of our meals. Rehab just freaks me the fuck out now. After the alcohol abuse incident in the hospital, I was found drunk 2 more times by my roommate, and she said she wanted to remain friends with me, but that she couldn't live with me anymore. And we had only lived together for 2 months, so that's how bad I was. And she packed up all of her stuff silently in front of me and brought her friends in to help her silently, and left to move in with her friends. They live in a suite together, so she's living with them now. And I have the room to myself, which would be awesome, except that the reason I have the room to myself is because I'm an alcoholic and a bad person, and her I want to stay friends with you is apparently a moot point because she hasn't talked to me or looked me in the face for 2 days. She had been my last friend, my only friend in the world, and I don't have anyone now. I don't have anything. Alcohol has taken jobs from me. It has taken the trust and respect of people around me. It has made people see me in a different way. It has made me see me in a different way, and I have way less of a chance to be successful now because of alcohol. But the worst thing it has done is taken away every single one of my friends. All of them. I don't have anyone anymore. Sorry, it's like turned me into something evil that no one wants to be around. And man, I don't want to do it anymore. I mean, it's been 2 days. I've been sober for 2 days, but I don't even see the point of it. Because I don't really see a future. I don't really see a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know. I keep lying. I keep lying and saying that I'm going to rehab and that I'm that like everything's okay, but it hasn't been okay, like ever. It's never been okay. And this is right now I'm uploading this to maybe keep myself accountable, or maybe have people watch this and know my story or something. I don't know, it just wasn't supposed to be this way. This isn't how I planned my life. Anyway, thanks for watching, I guess. I hope to be able to update this in the future and say that I've recovered. But we'll see what happens.